A couple stood before me, holding a DNA report and telling me I was their biological son. I looked at their expensive clothes, their polished appearances, and the faces that were an uncanny reflection of my own. I knew instantly they were telling the truth. I already have parents, I said calmly. My newfound mother's eyes immediately welled up. Liam, we're not here to take you away from them. I know this is a lot to process, but you are our son. The line was so familiar it was almost a glitch. It was giving major soap opera energy. The classic I'm not here to tear this family apart. I'm here to join it. The truth is, I'd known about my real identity for years after all. I had been as decade into this world, dropped into the pages of a novel, but my life was happy. My parents loved each other and had raised me as their own. I had zero interest in wading into the murky waters of some high society drama, especially because I knew the script. This was one of those trashy fake Heir get to redemption arc stories. As the real Heir, my only purpose was to be the pathetic, bumbling fool he triumphs over in the book. After returning to my wealthy family, I'm supposed to be crippled by an inferiority complex. I'm supposed to get into a series of petty battles with a beloved fake Heir, lose every single time, and end up abandoned by everyone with a suitably tragic end. So, from day one, my plan had been to escape the plot. And now, more than a decade later, I'd succeeded. I had passed the civil service exams and landed a secure government job in the quiet, far-flung city of Clear Creek. No matter how crazy the plot of some second-rate novel is, here in the real world, common sense prevails. Why would I want to be the sad sack rival to some trust fund kid when I could have a government pension? According to the original story, I was supposed to go back with them now, kicking off the war between the real and fake heirs. Please, it's not like there was a throne to inherit. But then my new billionaire father held out a black Amex, and I paused. Okay. So maybe the CEO of a national corporation did in fact have a fortune to inherit still. I wasn't going back. The exams for this fellowship were incredibly competitive. I told them seriously. I'm a public servant now. I can't just quit. If I resign, I'm barred from reapplying for 5 years, and getting a government job in New York is even harder. I can't go with you. My billionaire parents stared at me, completely baffled. Your mother and I have more than enough money once you come home. You could do whatever you want to. I'll never have to work again. It's too exhausting. Not working again was a tempting offer. I'll admit, but then I remembered the novel's insane plot, and my own survival instincts kicked in. I rejected the offer, though it pained me. I've had a dream since I was a kid, I said, my voice filled with manufactured passion. I want to use my knowledge to help people who are struggling. Now that I finally have the chance, I have to serve the community. My biological father's eyes filled with tears. He grabbed my hand, his voice thick with emotion. That's my boy. That's a Donovan through and through. Son, I support you. His reaction caught me completely off guard. In the book, my biological parents were so biased, they might as well have been on another planet. They saw me as some country bumpkin, were embarrassed by me within days of taking me home, and avoided me at all costs. Every attempt I made to get closer was twisted into being seen as scheming, pathetic, and low class. But this reality has seemed different. Better. We went out for a nice dinner, and afterward, my new mom, Eleanor, took me to the mall and insisted on a shopping spree after the 5th swipe of her card. Had to stop her. That's enough, really, Mrs. Donovan. I can't wear this stuff to work. I do site visits in rural areas. It would send the wrong message. These clothes are way too flashy. However, let Crystal know you can't wear any of this, will you? You've had such a hard life. Your father and I have failed you. Her voice broke as she started to cry. Oh God. Can someone please tell me how to comfort a crying socialite? I was completely out of my depth, trying desperately to explain it. Not a hard life. I swear, The benefits are actually pretty good. I mean, getting into this fellowship is tough. I did it. That proves I'm pretty capable, right? You got in because it was so tough. You must have suffered so much, my poor baby boy. Okay, great. Now there was no talking my way out of this. It was hopeless. I had no choice but to go along with it, promising I'd take care of myself and wouldn't let myself suffer. They finally reluctantly agreed to let me stay on the condition that they could visit any time they wanted and I'd make time for them. As they were leaving, they looked back, full of longing watching them go. I felt a strange softness in my chest. Maybe a pull of shared blood. They almost accepted the keys to the luxury sports car my father tried to press into my hand. But at the last second, my public servant's code of conduct kicked in. I pushed the keys back. No. Thank you. I can't. This would be a violation of ethics rules. I can't accept it as a county development officer. I had to maintain a clean and upstanding image at all times to set a good example. Walking home, I mulled over the novel's plot. It had been so long since I'd arrived in this world that I only remembered the broad strokes, not the fine details. The story was completely unhinged. The wealthy heirs were in a constant state of conflict. I could understand fighting over the family fortune, but these were grown men, nearly 30, still fighting for their parents. Affection and squabbling over a fiancé. The drama was relentless. A total train wreck. The author who wrote this book was an idiot. It wasn't even worth criticizing, so when I first arrived here as a 6th grader, I'd set a clear goal for myself. Stay far away from these lunatics, study hard, get a good job, and serve my country. From my undergrad at Columbia to my master's at Yale, and in landing a prestige, a public service fellowship, my life had been a dream. I had a great career and a wonderful girlfriend. Life was beautifully, reassuringly normal. When I got home, my girlfriend, Chloe, was curled up on the sofa watching TV. The second I walked in, I dove into her arms. Officer Chloe, I mumbled in her shoulder. A billionaire couple showed up today, claiming I'm their long-lost son. I want to report a crime. They're clearly trying to corrupt an honest, hard-working public servants. He laughed, hugging me back tightly. And was our humble public servant corrupted? Her smile was so beautiful, it instantly erased all my worries. Who cared about some crazy rich family? This was the good life. A beautiful woman in my arms and a long night ahead. The weekend flew by. Early Monday morning, I drove out to the town hall in Ridgeline, the community I was assigned to. As I parked my sensible sedan, I saw gleaming Ferrari parked near the town entrance. A woman with wavy, dark brown hair stepped out. She was tall and slender, dressed in a sharp power suit with a kind of commanding presence you couldn't fake. A total boss. Good Lord, where did this goddess come from? She walked toward me on impossibly high heels, a flicker of emotion on her face. She seemed to be forcing her lips into a friendly smile. You must be Liam. I'm your sister, Stella Donovan. You could tell she wasn't a smiler. She had the classic ice queen CEO vibe down cold, so this was my allegedly sister's. He was exactly as advertised. The heiress groomed to take over the Donovan empire. The secret crush of the novel's fake heirs irradiated an untouchable, aristocratic air. I smiled back, offering a polite greeting. Hi, I'm Liam Hayes, and I might be your long-lost brother. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't trying to be cold. I just honestly had no idea what to say. My eyes drifted from her immaculate suit and the designer watch on her wrist. Hell, even her hair seemed to shine with a light that didn't belong here, to the crumbling basketball court and dilapidated town hall behind her. The whole scene was jarring. An idea sparked. I narrowed my eyes and shot a look at Mayor Thompson, who was standing nearby, practically digging a hole in the ground with his toe out of awkwardness. He got the message immediately and slipped away to make a call to the county commissioner's office. That's my guy. With that sorted, I warmly invited Stella inside for some coffee, launching into a casual overview of the town and its current situation. She listened intently. Damn, I thought. She really is the female CEO archetype. Look at that focus. When I paused, she looked at me, a question in her eyes. Why do you stop? I pushed aside my complex feelings and grinned. Oh, that's about it for the tour, unless you'd like to take a walk around later and see for yourself. Hey, true boss, she sore-eyed through me. You're looking for an investor, she said flatly. My ears perked up. A flat tone wasn't a no. This place really is a hidden gem, I said, my sales pitch kicking into high gear. Stunningly beautiful. Great access to the interstate, salt-of-the-earth people, and a rich local history. It has huge economic potential. A very worthy investment, what can I say? But town budget was shot. Our only hope was to attract private investment, get the community fired up, and build a path to prosperity. But she didn't take the bait. Just as we were staring at each other in a standoff, the rumbling of engines broke the silence. Less than 30 minutes later, County Commissioner Reed and Mayor Thompson arrived with a state official in tow, who happened to be in the area for a site visit. Hearing the news from the mayor, he drushed right over. After a round of formal introductions, we all filed into the conference room. It was a four-sided table my superiors sat across from the doorstep, and in the middle of the opposite side, flanked by two of her assistants. She was a natural, already in full negotiation. They set out name plaques and assigned a name for the meeting. Donovan Group Proposal for Economic Development and Investment in Clear Creek County. I remained perfectly calm, took out my notepad and pen, and started taking minutes. I also pulled out my phone to snap a few pictures for the record. The meeting began. The discussion between the officials and Stella's team was intense, the atmosphere thick with tension. Halfway through, Stella took a call. When she returned, she huddled with her assistants, whispering. When the talks resumed, her position had shifted. Money, she announced. "'Cause now the issue the Donovan Group has decided to invest, spoken like a true billionaire's daughter, generous and decisive." The Donovan Group, a multi-billion-dollar corporation with operations all over the country with an investment from them, leveraging our natural resources and local culture. This place could explode. My superiors were practically vibrating with excitement. Stella, however, remained poised, the picture of a corporate titan. He was the CEO. Fantasy made real. After the negotiations wrapped up, the officials hurried back to their offices to notify everyone, gather data, and start drafting reports. As for me, I was pulled aside by Stella. "Liam is my brother," she told them smoothly. "I need him to fill me in on a few more details." The officials all nodded eagerly. "Of course, take all the time you need." Then one turned and whispered to me, "Whatever you do, make sure Ms. Donovan is happy. Make her fall in love with this place." Suddenly, my job description had expanded. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves as we walked along a country lane. Her expression was softer now, the eyes from a negotiation table having melted away. "Mom and Dad told me you don't want to come home," she said, her voice quiet. "They don't know how to make it up to you. And even if you don't move back right now, there will always be a place for you in our family." I was honestly surprised. Her attitude was a complete reversal from what I remembered in the novel. In the book, she was always indifferent toward the male supporting character. There was never any hint of circling affection. I wondered what had changed her mind. "Hey, Sai escaped me. I kicked at a loose stone on the path. I've had a really good life, you know. My parents, my adoptive parents, they love me. And I love this job. Just look around, Stella. It's beautiful out here. The people are decent and kind. They might not have fancy degrees, but they're grateful and warm. They were worth fighting for." I told her more stories about my time in Ridgeline. About the people I'd met and the things I'd experienced. She listened quietly, chiming in now and then. The conversation was easy, comfortable. The Donovan Group was incredibly generous. They started with a $2 billion investment. A special task force was formed, calling staff from various departments. I was appointed the official liaison with the Donovan Group for the next month. My colleagues and I worked around the clock, conducting market analyses, land surveys, and resource assessments until we had a preliminary development plan hammered out. I was so buried in spreadsheets and reports that I didn't even realize my biological parents had been trying to reach me until my boss found me. Apparently, my phone had been off, and when they couldn't get through, they called my supervisor directly. My boss, looking frantic, told me to call them back immediately. Then he ordered me to take a few days off. To keep our investors happy, I checked my phone and saw a string of missed calls and texts. My biological parents wanted to meet my adoptive parents. They wanted to get to know them, to thank them since I had the time off. It was the perfect opportunity to finally sit down with my mom and dad and talk everything through. I'd only given them the short version over the phone before work got insane. And then there was Chloe, my dear Chloe. I hadn't seen her in what felt like forever. Chloe's family was a bit more well off than mine. We'd met in college as rivals on the debate team, but battle after battle of wits had forged a mutual respect, and by the time we both secured our postgrad jobs, I finally managed to win her over. We were united by a shared purpose, partners for life. It was like she could read my mind. Just as I picked up my phone to call her, I saw her little Mini Cooper pull up in front of my apartment complex. I ran downstairs and saw her standing there. She was in sweats, her hair in a messy bun. Her gentle eyes held a hint of stubbornness, and she stood with a quiet strength. I jogged over and dropped my arms around her, resting my chin on her shoulder like a koala clinging to a tree, and launched into a breathless retelling of the whole bizarre story. Just as I finished my rant right there in the parking lot, we ran into my so-called fiancée from the novel, Ashley Mercer, the woman from a novel that the fake Heir and I were supposed to fight over. I took one look at her and had to admit she looked the part of a leading lady. Polished and perfect, she stormed toward me. Hot, her stiletto heel caught on a loose piece of gravel and she nearly face-planted. I clicked my tongue, same high heels, sing country lane. My sister Stella had looked elegant and regal. This woman just looked like a mess. No wonder the fake Heir in the book secretly pined for Stella his whole life. Take away the plot armor that made her the main love interest. And Ashley Mercer had nothing going for her. She seemed to catch my disdainful look, because her face flushed with anger. She pointed a finger at me. What did you say to Kaiden? I'm telling you, even if you're a Donovan now, I will never marry you. I love Kaiden and only Kaiden. For the love of God. I'd been stuck in Clear Creek this whole time. I'd never even met this Kaiden. Is it possible? I said dead Dan, that I have no idea who you or this Kaiden are? You think you're a winning lottery ticket? Not everyone wants you. Impossible, she shrieked. It has to be you. He would never leave me otherwise. I'm serious, I said. My patience wearing thin. I've never met him. Just as we reached a stalemate, another figure emerged from out of nowhere. He was dressed in a slightly punk rock style, meticulously put together, all with the kind of delicate, pretty boy features that were popular these days, the perfect face for a male lead. He walked right up to me and looked at me with a timid expression. His eyes were red-rimmed, but he was trying to look strong. Brother, he said softly. They won't take anything from you. Ashley is your fiancée. I'm giving her back to you. I'll leave the family. I won't disturb your reunion. As he spoke, huge teardrops started rolling down his cheeks until he was sobbing uncontrollably. What did I miss? Something? Since when was I's brother? Dude, stop adopting relatives unseriously. A grown man pulling the passive-aggressive victim routine. I had no idea how to even respond to this level of theater. I was baffled, but I stayed silent. Pulling Chloe closer to watch the show, Ashley's face contorted in pain. No, Kaiden, I love you. I don't care if you're a Donovan or not. Then she whirled back to me. I will never let my family control me and force me to be with a country bumpkin like you. Okay. Personal attacks are crossing the line. What did the countryside ever do to you? I was about to fire back when Kaiden spoke again. Your brother is your true fiancé. I'm the one who stole everything from Hinnet. It's time to return what's his, even though I love you. I have to leave with that. Another perfect tear rolled down his cheek. Ashley howled. No, Kaiden, you're too good, too kind. Where will I go if you leave? Chloe looked at me bewildered, then pointed a discreet finger at her temple. Are they okay? I nodded gravely. There, not so. This was it. The over-the-top CEO and his delicate little damsel from some dated romance novel. Except the damsel was a dude. It was ridiculous. It was insane. I was done listening to their sappy dialogue. I just wanted them to leave me alone. I took a deep breath first. I said, Charles and Dylan Donovan are my biological parents. You don't need to give them to me. They are my parents. Second, I have a girlfriend. I'm not interested in your fiancé. Third, whether I return to the Donovan family is my business. And finally, please stop causing a scene in my apartment complex. I'm about to call security. In the original story, after I went missing, the Donovans never stopped looking for me. When they heard about a boy in an orphanage who resembled me, they rushed over. That's where they found Kaiden. He was small and timid, and he reminded my biological mother of her lost son, so they adopted him unnamed in Kaiden. It was their way of holding out hope for my return. He had been with them for years. Easing my mother's grief, the Donovan and Mercer families had a marriage alliance. Now that the real heir was back, the Mercers refused to let their daughter marry an impostor and demanded the engagement be transferred to the real Donovan's son. This, of course, kicked off a dramatic push-and-pull romance between Kaiden and Dashley, with the original me thrown in as a troublemaker. So exhausting, so much drama. After my last sentence, I ignored the two lunatics in the parking lot, grabbed Chloe's hand, and headed upstairs. I had finally gotten a day off with my amazing girlfriend, and I was going to enjoy our time together, damn it. My parents arrived the next day. Chloe and I went to pick them up from the station. They live in a different city, while Chloe and I work here in Clear Creek. I was placed here through my fellowship. Assigned to a 2-year rotation in a rural town. The house was bought with a down payment from my parents, and I cover the mortgage. I don't live in it much, though Chloe and I just spent the day before cleaning it up. I usually just crash at her place when I'm in the city. It's closer, and honestly, I'm usually too tired to go anywhere else once they were settled. I listened to my mom's gentle nagging and then laid out the entire real versus fake story for them. My dad smiled. Your mom and I were so worried you wouldn't be able to handle it. We wanted to come sooner, but your mother was afraid you'd be upset, that you might blame us. I wrapped my arms around both of them. Of course not. Dad, you know I love you guys. I was just so swamped with work. Otherwise I would have come home to tell you in person. My mom poked me in the shoulder. You have no idea how scared we were. If Liam wants to acknowledge them, that's fine with us. Dad added, your mother and I will understand. I felt my nose tingle and hugged my mom tighter. Mom. Even though I'd known since I was a kid that I was adopted, they never knew that I knew. I'd been kidnapped by the Donovan's nanny and sold to human traffickers. I got sick, and the traffickers, thinking I wouldn't make it, abandoned me on the side of a road. My parents, who were passing through on a trip, heard my cries, found me, nursed me back to health, and adopted me in the original novel. They died in a car crash when the protagonist was 17, which is what sent him down a dark, resentful path before the Donovans found him. But since I was here, I'd already made sure they avoided that. They were safe and sound, and our family was happy. Donovans invited us all to dinner tomorrow night. I told them. My parents readily agreed. The next evening, I brought them to the restaurant. The entire Donovan clan was there. Even Kaiden. The dinner was pleasant enough, aside from Kaiden's constant hesitant glances and the icy glare. He shot me whenever Stella put food on my plate or spoke to me. It sent a chill down my spine. My dad and Charles Donovan hit it off, and my mom was so warm and kind that both families got along wonderfully. We even talked about whether I would return to the Donovan family, and it went smoothly. My mom looked at me and said, whether he goes back or not is Liam's choice. His career and relationship are stable here. If he wants to go, we won't stand in his way. We support him. Eleanor Donovan. My biological mother teared up. You raised him, she said. Her voice thick with emotion. You saved him. If it weren't for you, he might not be with us today. So, we won't force him to do anything. Just knowing he's safe and happy is enough. Honestly, I was relieved. Stella was there for the dawn of Ines, but my parents only had me, and I preferred being with them, of course. I knew Charles and Eleanor loved me too, and I planned to visit them often. As for Kaiten, I stayed out of it. Blood relation or not, he was adopted partly because of me. But you don't just erase years of raising and loving a child, because the one you lost suddenly reappears. People are a bit heartless. I took a few more days off, and the two families spent the time sightseeing around Clear Creek. The city's top officials, knowing the Donovan Group was investing, took the project very seriously. They assigned more staff and issued a new directive. This project was to be a catalyst for the entire city's growth, with Ridgeline as the model. We would use this one point to radiate development outward, highlighting the unique strengths of each town to boost the whole regional economy. My colleagues and I were fired up whenever we hit a roadblock. I get on the phone with the Donovans, talk up the investment's potential, and play the family card a little. The next day, Charles Donovan would increase the funding and send down one of his top guys. Mr. Wallace, the group's head of investments, was a highly capable man, a fact I deduced from his impressively bald head. They even sent their own staff to establish a local subsidiary to grow industry. You first need infrastructure with a solid foundation. Everything else can follow. The city already had a high-speed rail connection, the interstate was nearly complete, and the towns were close to each other. Transportation was solid, so we funneled the money into project development. For example, Ridgeline had beautiful scenery and a welcoming community, perfect for tourism development. The neighboring town of Rock Bluff was famous for its unique variety of peppercorns and the local's traditional pepper sauce recipe. So we expanded cultivation, built a brand, and created a complete production chain from planting to processing to sales. The city itself had a deep history and ancient landmarks. We would preserve them, hire experts for restoration, and market it as a historic heritage city. From there, we create a ripple effect, letting the initial successes inspire growth in surrounding areas. A rising tide to lift all boats. Finally, we'd launch a campaign to attract talent back home, encouraging entrepreneurship and boosting the population. Everyone was busy, working non-stop after a year of hard work. We were already seeing significant results. The per capita GDP had seen a major jump, but we were still waiting for that one big break, the thing that would make Clear Creek really famous. And soon, that break came on a rare day off. I drove to pick Chloe up from work. We chatted about small things, little dramas, and gossip from our respective offices. I was in a great mood, and I pulled into our apartment complex, and there he was again, leaning against a flashy car, dressed head to toe in expensive streetwear. Python Reed was blocking the entrance. He saw my car and walked forward to stop me. A massive headache was already forming behind my eyes. I rolled down my window. "Excuse me, Mr. Reed, you're blocking the road." He didn't move. "Liam, I need to talk to you. Get out of the car." My patience was gone. Work was stressful enough on my one day off. I didn't want to deal with this. "Whatever it is, we can talk about it upstairs. Just move." He refused, insisting we talk right there, right now. I wanted to drag it out. I figured it was best to get it over with. I told Chloe to wait in the car and got out. "Kaiten, what do you want?" Seeing me, he approached, his eyes instantly turning red. "Liam," he said, his voice trembling, "I broke up with Ashley. Why won't you get back together with her? You two are meant to be." I stared at him, my face a blank mask. Kaiten faltered, clearly not expecting that response. He regrouped and continued his act. "I was the one who took your place all these years. I'll give it all back to you. Ashley is yours. I won't see her again." The crowd was starting to gather. People were pulling out their phones to record. The fancy car was like a magnet for attention. It was clear this was going to be another big scene. The neighborhood vultures were circling for gossip. I took a deep breath. I think I made myself clear last time. If you're confused, go ask your parents as for your fiancée, Ashley. I'm not interested. She can't hold a candle to my girlfriend. Thanks. I thought for a second. Then added, and please leave. Stop harassing me just then. Another blindingly expensive car. Told up. Everyone turned to stare, gasping. Seeing one luxury car in our small city was rare. Whole limited edition models? At once, it was an event. Stepping out of the car was Ashley Mercer. Her makeup perfect, a brand new Chanel bag on her arm, and once again wearing impossibly high stilettos. My God. Kay wanted to slap them both. The moment she got out, she saw Caden's teary, pitiful expression, and assuming I had bullied him, she lunged at me. Liam Hayes. I was about to dodge when Chloe moved faster. She intercepted Ashley's hand. Pushing her back while pulling me behind her, she turned to me, her eyes scanning me for injuries. Are you okay? My Taekwondo black belt girlfriend protecting her man? So hot. I shook my head and stepped forward to face Kaiden. How many times do I have to say this? Can you just stop being so damn dramatic in front of my building? I'm not interested in Ashley Mercer. I have a girlfriend. Are you incapable of understanding human speech? You keep saying you'll give me your parents and your fiancée, but you never actually do anything at that pact. He then rounded on Ashley. And you, are you an idiot? Every time you see him cry, you attack me. Have you no sense of decency? You keep saying you'll never fall in love with me? You think you're made of gold? You're not worth one strand of my girlfriend's hair. Who the hell would want you? Get lost. I was furious. Don't let me see either of you again. A woman from the crowd chimed in with a laugh. That's right, our Liam and Chloe are the neighborhood's model couple. Their faces flushed with embarrassment, and they finally, humiliating lie, retreated. Chloe and I, meanwhile, had to go back on duty, even though we were off the clock. All right, everyone. Show's over. I called out. Let's clear the way so people can get their cars through. Someone took the opportunity to ask Chloe what was going on. Worried about the potential fallout, she gave them a vague summary. Kirsten's eyes went wide. Wow. Chloe, you hit the jackpot. You a billionaire's fan. Chloe just smiled and didn't say a word. Exhausted from the day, we finally got home, ate dinner, and collapsed on the couch. The next morning, I was jolted awake by a storm of phone calls. Liam, you're trending. It was Will, a junior colleague, screaming like a maniac on the other end of the line. What the hell? Explain. After he filled me in, I understood someone had filmed yesterday's incident and posted it online. The video was edited creatively, of course. Presented as a dramatic confrontation where the handsome, wronged boyfriend confronts his cheating partner and a plain-looking homewrecker. Naturally, I was the plain-looking homewrecker, and Kaiden was the dashing, heartbroken boyfriend. The internet predictably sided with him. The comments were a cesspool of hate directed at me. Some online sleuths had even managed to dig up my and Kaiden's information. My next call was from Charles Donovan. His voice was laced with concern. Liam, I'll handle this. I found myself reassuring him as fine people in our complex filmed the whole thing. I'll get the full video and send it to you. I'll need the Donovan Group's official channels to clear this up. As soon as I hung up, Chloe walked in. Tablet in hands, he sat down beside me. I found a bunch of videos. A few people recorded the entire thing. I'm sending them to you now. Together, we pieced together what had happened. It turned out Kaiden and Ashley were minor internet celebrities. A kind of influencer couple. They posted about their lavish lifestyle and dramatic, CEO-style romance, which had earned them a sizable following of fans who ate it up. Lately, however, Kaiden had been appearing in his videos alone, sparking speculation among their followers. He had also been dropping vague hints about a third party coming between them, driving up engagement as his fans lamented the death of true love and tried to figure out who had stolen the beautiful rich girl's man. The video had been posted by a guy in our building who ran a small media blog. He had recognized Kaiden yesterday and, sensing a viral moment, filmed the confrontation. edited it for maximum drama, and posted it. The title is pure clickbait, shocking. Influencer couple's explosive fight with homemaker. You won't believe what he looks like. Chapter 7. The comments section was a toxic wasteland. People were tearing me apart. Dude, you must have been desperate. Was one of the kinder ones. But my main takeaway was, what do you mean? You won't believe what he looks like. I may not be Chris Hemsworth, but I'm a reasonably handsome guy, sure. I'd been working overtime, hadn't shaved in a day, and was radiating pure, uncut, exhausted office worker vibes. The contrast with Kaiden's head-to-toe designer look was stark. I'll admit, I cupped Chloe's face in my hands. Am I ugly? Liam? I winced, my ego wounded seeing me bristle. She smoothed my hair and said, I'm kidding. You're handsome, the most handsome. We joked around for a bit. But, just as I was about to send the full videos to my biological father, an idea struck me. Wait a minute, I said. My eyes widening. This is it. This is our big break. I called Charles back and told him not to issue a clarification just yet. Let the narrative fester. We can use the publicity to promote Clear Creek. By the next day, online detectives had uncovered most of my story. Me, a perfectly average civil servant. No money, no looks. Completely ordinary. They couldn't figure out how I of all people had managed to defeat the rich and handsome Kaidan Reed. Of course, their confusion didn't stop them from dragging me through the mud. The hate even spilled over onto our department's official social media accounts. Every video was flooded with comments. Is your county just going to let Liam Hayes be a homewrecker? Fire Liam Hayes. All homewreckers should die, you shameless bastard. The abuse was vile, escalating to personal attacks. Even a county commissioner heard about it and called to check on me. I had already disclosed my relationship with the Donovans to my superiors, so they were in the loop. I assured him I was fine, and I didn't care about the online hate. I seized the opportunity. The Donovan Group is holding a press conference this afternoon to announce my identity and clear up the rumors. I told him, "Hey, easy to get all departments ready. The Donovans are going to pivot directly into promoting the region." The commissioner was ecstatically in. My boy, that's brilliant. Excellent work. Just doing my part to serve the people. Every department went into overdrive. I gathered the project task force for a briefing. The theme was simple. All right, people, get ready. This is the break we've been waiting for. At 2:00 p.m., the Donovan Group's press conference began. Charles Donovan took the podium himself. He briefly explained my and Kaiden's backstory and then masterfully spent the bulk of his time detailing the investment projects in our county. Simultaneously, the Donovan Group's official social media accounts released a formal statement for all the internet gossips along with the unedited video of the parking lot incident. Several women from my apartment complex also jumped into the comments to back me up. I can vouch for this. This is what really happened. I was there. I tried to tell people this before, but no one believed me. See? Told you so. In an instant, the internet exploded, fueled by the Donovan Group's PR machine. Not only did Clear Creek go viral, but so did I. Everyone was talking about me. Digging into who I was, my background quietly appeared on Wikipedia. The internet was stunned. It was the kind of fantasy everyone dreams about as a kid. Being the long-lost heir to a fortune, like something out of a cheesy 2000s movie, discovered by your billionaire family and whisked away into a life of luxury. No one could believe a plot like that was happening in real life, and as they dug deeper, they found me, Liam Hayes, 27 years old, straight-A student, valedictorian, undergrad from Columbia, master's from Yale. After graduating, I accepted a prestigious public service fellowship and was in my first year of rural assignment, and now, the son of a billionaire. A life that seemed both completely ordinary and utterly incredible. My department set up an official social media account for me, of course. It wasn't just my account. The plan was to use the traffic to build a professional media team to showcase our region's landscapes and industries. The account hit 1 million followers overnight. Everyone was curious about me. Media outlets desperate for a scoop started camping out of my office. When they couldn't find me, they decided to explore the area while they were there, and that's when they discovered how beautiful the scenery was, how delicious the food was, how warm and welcoming the people were. They started posting glowing travel vlogs, which went viral in their own right, attracting waves of travel bloggers. Clear Creek had officially blown up. In the midst of the chaos, we launched a live streaming e-commerce channel to sell local products. Using the Rio vs. Fake Heir drama as a hook, we attracted a massive audience of curious onlookers. People came for the gossip, but stayed to support a good cause. They soon discovered the products were high quality, food was delicious, and through word of mouth, our local brand started to build a stellar reputation. It was exhausting, but everyone was thrilled, of course. My story was only a small part of our success. The real credit belonged to the tireless work of Clear Creek's public servants in regulating the market and the incredible spirit of its people, who worked hard every day to build better lives. This was a victory for the entire community. After several more months of non-stop work, I was dead on my feet. If Eleanor Donovan hadn't shown up to see me, I might have forgotten I was even in a trashy romance novel to begin with. Turns out, work is the ultimate cure for high society drama. She told me Caden had run off to Europe without me as the villainous obstacle in their love story. Caden and Ashley's epic romance didn't end in a tearful reconciliation. Instead, a devoted second female lead had entered the picture. Apparently, Caden, trying to spite Ashley, had decided to marry this other woman during the wedding. Ashley stormed and undramatically announced she was pregnant with Caden's child. The wedding was called off, and Caden fled the country. Now Ashley was in Europe, chasing after him. They were still over there, living out their drama on another continent. Eleanor was devastated by the whole affair. Charles asked if I could spend some time with her. With my support, she finally started to bounce back. My 2-year assignment in Ridgeline came to an end on my last day. The community threw me a farewell party. It wasn't just my colleagues. Dozens of townspeople came out to see me off. My hand, holding a glass for toasts, didn't get a moment's rest all night. I have to say, my alcohol tolerance is seriously underrated. When my head finally started to spin, I felt a hand gently pull me away. It smelled the familiar scent of jasmine and knew it was Chloe. I heard her saying polite goodbyes as the noise of the party slowly faded behind us. Back at home, I was feeling sentimental. I love you so much, Chloe. I slurred the first time I saw you. I knew you were supposed to be my girlfriend. She was wiping my face with a warm cloth. Love at first sight, was it? I giggled. No, it was your intellect I was attracted to. That was a lie. It was totally love at first sight. The first time I saw her was at Yale. I was there with a friend who was competing in a debate tournament between our schools. I was just in the audience. She was on stage, wearing a simple but elegant navy blazer and a crisp white shirt. He had a wisdom about her that seemed beyond her years, a commanding presence as she debated. She was calm and flappable, her arguments sharp and precise. I was instantly smitten. I got her number from my friend, and that's how we met. It took me years to finally win her over. After she cleaned me up, I insisted on watching a movie. Just as she was completely absorbed in the film, I pulled a bouquet of roses from seemingly nowhere with one hand, and from my pocket with the other, a small black velvet box. My eyes were clear, my voice steady. Chloe, will you marry me? She looked surprised, but after a moment, a slow smile spread across her face. She took the roses and held out her hand. I will. It was the most beautiful thing I had ever heard. Our wedding was a low-key affair at first. My biological parents wanted to throw me a wedding of the century, but I shut that down fast. I'm a public official. There are rules about extravagant personal events. 40 tables maximum. Charles, Eleanor, and Stella just stared at me. For our honeymoon, Eleanor tried to book us a luxury tour around the world again. I had to refuse. My passport is held by my department. I have to file a formal request to travel abroad. Eleanor just stared at me. At the end of the year, the city held an awards ceremony to recognize those who had made significant contributions to the recent revitalization efforts. Thanks to my wealthy parents, generous funding and my own hard work on the project, I was front and center, receiving the Outstanding Youth Public Servant Award. On stage, the commissioner shook my hand, clapping me on the shoulder, his eyes crinkling into a smile so wide they almost disappeared. Excellent work. Liam, keep it up. Not only that, but I also got a promotion. I was now a deputy division chief, such sweet problems to have by escaping the ridiculous drama of the novel. My life became like anyone else's, blessedly, beautifully normal. The truth is, we're all just ordinary people in this world. Life doesn't have a huge audience watching our every move. Only by keeping our feet on the ground can we ever hope to bear fruit, just like Clear Creek. Just like me, and just like you.